everyone. I am glazing some pottery today. So I'm actually prepping right now for glazing. But this is start. I am glazing some pottery today. Hold on a second. So I'm actually prepping right now for glazing. But this is start. I'm just posting the link on my Patreon page. Thank you to all the Patreon supporters. Publish now. Okay, I think that should be set and I can get to glazing. I hope so. Let's see. Yes. Everyone who's joined. Let's shop around so you can read the messages too. Might see really tiny screen there, but that's okay. Read the messages out there. Someone type something so I can read. I know for sure that I can read it. Okay. So if you can see on the close-up camera that each piece gets painted individually with some kind of an idea as to what I want. It might not usually follow that criteria, but it gets close to what I want. And I decided in time which way I want to glaze it. Can you hear me? I'm not even sure you can. Let's see if. Hello. Okay. I think you should be able to hear me. Yeah, I think you can. Maybe I'm not very loud since the microphone is a little further away. But these are some honey pots that I'm glazing, and out here are some oil bottles which are also being glazed. I try to aim at the dots, but I don't necessarily want to. Sometimes kind of like going a little off center for the dots, because it's very much like the Indian batik prints. Like, you can sometimes see that the patterns don't usually line up and match up, and I think that gives a good visual interest to it. So these all have been glazed with a red accent. These ones I'm doing with a black accent, and these will be glazed blue in color. So that's what I'm working on. Just going to paint in some of the flowers here. Maybe I'll just do the black accent. Why? Because of the black accent for everything. maybe just this one. Maybe the glazing also needs to be updated. Sometimes I decorate them, sometimes I don't. Depends on my mood. I like to do a little color accent in the pencil. It just makes the pattern stand out more. Next, and I have to keep the lids matching, or I forget. I think all the others I might do it in the blue pattern. Okay, let me get the blue pattern. Shift. Looking at the pending orders to make sure what color was ordered. Okay. So these will get black accent. These are some medium cups. Don't have too many. Just two of these. I think I have some in my shop, but the order is for one. I'm glazing two because you never know what's going to survive in the kiln. These two mugs are going to be glazed purple. I think I do have some fine colored or green colored mugs of this size in stock at the shop right now. But I'm running out of stock, and the holiday season is upon us. I don't know how much time I'll get to make more stuff. I'm trying, but we shall see. Hi, Melanie. Is it very hard to see? Oh, it's very brightly lit. That's because my studio is really bright. But I bet it's blowing out the colors too. Um, Let me see if I can change some settings in the camera. Uh, what I need in between. So let's configure the video. Um, let's reduce the brightness a little bit, and hopefully that might be better. Okay, let me know if um, if that is any better, or maybe I bet it's just blowing out because the white is just so white. The clay is white right now, it has no color on it. That's why. But I'm done with the black color. Let's see if I can adjust the camera a little bit in a different place so it doesn't reflect too much. Does it get too washed out? What is it? probably need it worse. So I need a shade out here because there's a light which shines directly on top. Let me see. Let me move my camera. So it's right here, and hopefully that's a little better. Okay. Hopefully this will be a little bit better. But yeah, I do have bright lights in the studio because I like to see what I'm doing, and sometimes the cameras just don't uh, pick that up properly. Yeah, I know when my hand shade goes on top, then you can see it's because I have a light right on top, and if I don't keep that light turned on, it's hard for me to see what I'm doing because it is pretty white and pretty hard to see. So hopefully now I can, that shows up a little better than before, just a little better. So this blue underglaze that I use is a lot runnier than I like, but it's hard to thicken up and underglaze. It's easier to thin them down, but it's harder to thicken it down. Like I'm applying no pressure on the bottle at all. It's just automatically dripping down, and if I slow down my application, then it becomes even more thicker. How are these pots made? These are all hand built. So I hand built. I used to throw on the wheel once upon a time, but I haven't thrown for a very long time. Um, these are all hand built, and all my work is inspired by fabrics, whether it's embroidery patterns like this one, or when it is like knitted patterns. I do a lot of lace patterns, woven patterns, very textural, very much like fabrics. Um, After they are glazed, they kind of look like this. Hopefully you can see that. So this is a casserole, um, and it has all that embroidery. And all these patterns are different because they are decorated in different ways. They're different. Like this one has a wash on it. That's why it kind of has that reddish, you know, red peeking out from the green. But like these, I'm putting color effects on. And do knitted ones. This one is not glazed, but like they look like knitting, and they all have buttons on them. Thank you. Yes, they all have buttons, and that's what makes them very fabric-like, which is what I like. And you can check out more of my work on my website that's mentioned on my screen, creativewithclay.com. So feel free to look, browse through. Um, some stuff is in stock. Mostly I make stuff made to order, and I make extra pieces, so that's what goes in stock. But I'm always trying to catch up inventory, especially for mods. What I'm making now are honey pots. So those are the lids, and these are the bases for each one. So I'm decorating them in a coordinated way so that they can all go in the can and get started. And hopefully the lids will fit the pots. That's the goal of me. Melanie says, I will. Where are you located though? I'm located in Washington, Washington State, just south of Seattle. Where are you from, Melanie, if I may ask? Oh, South Africa. South America. That's a long ways away. Not too long though. I've had people from all over. I've shipped my mouse everywhere, but shipping does get crazy and insane when it comes to international shipping. Just can't help it. Just the way things are. Right? Do you do pottery as well, Melanie? That's okay. It's a good thing that you are glancing my side. It's never a bad thing. You can see the finished pots there, so that's a good thing. Melanie says, beautiful work on there. Thank you. Trying to see some missing flowers that I haven't decorated. Sometimes I miss them, but that's fine. It's handmade. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm fine with that. Melanie says, I'm an art teacher and do raku work and small ceramic items. Oh, that's cool. I have done a little bit of raku when I first started off. And the one thing I like about raku is that it's so quick. Like, there's a quick gratification you get from it. You don't have to wait for hours for, the thing to cool down and then wait for the whole day. You can kind of pretty much glaze and fire and open your pot on the same day, same afternoon. At least that's the kind of raku that I did. But it was kind of like, like a one day workshop thing. I wanted to try it, and I like the results. The only thing which I wasn't too crazy about raku is that it's not really functional because you know the clay doesn't get vitrified. It's good for decorative pieces, and I like the quick results. but because it's not functional, and I like to make functional work like, mugs and honey pots and oil bottles and all of that. It's kind of a little bit of a drawback doing raku. But I have some beautiful work made by other artists, other raku artists, which is really nice. And I cannot get those results in my kiln, so it's definitely a one of kind of artwork. It's great for sculptural work. As Melanie says, more decorative and yes, I agree. Yeah, I have one sculpture, a big sculpture around 20 inches high, by an artist by the name of Deborah. I'm forgetting her last name. Deborah Bigelow, I think. And she used to make these ladies which are dressed in a cape. And I don't know if you saw on my website, I like to make ladies that are dressed up as well. But hers was, it was all black. So there was no like typical raku decoration, but it was still pretty cool. Melanie says the results are never the same, which is why it is so intriguing to me. I agree. Yeah, that's good thing about raku firings and gas firings, wood firings. I kind of like that unexpected kind of surprise you can get. I fire in an electric kiln, so my results are pretty predictable. There's no significant surprise that happens, but I also like to play around with glazes and underglazes and doing layers of colors, and sometimes that surprises me. So I get some cool textures and color combinations going when the underglazes mix, like that green casserole I had just shown you. Just putting that the red wash under the green kind of turns it into a brownish earthy color, which I think it looks really nice. But again, some people go like, that looks brown. I wish it was red. But, I thought it would be red, but I kind of like brown. Unexpected, but it happens. And this too, it's like you can see sometimes my lines are not even, or anything. It just overall, it still makes a really cool effect because of the texture there. This just kind of adds a little bit of color accent on it, which I like. So that is some of the stuff I'm doing. The next thing I need to decorate are some mugs, the lace pattern. Actually, I have a tray as well. Somebody who ordered the honey pots also wanted a tray with it, so both, she ordered two pots that could sit on the tray. Excuse me. So I need to decorate too. The colors of these are probably just totally blown out. But it's easier for me to do it on this than hold the tray in my hand. Melanie asks, what clay am I using? So the clay that I'm using is a stoneware. It fires to foam 6. So it's a good functional clay. And it fires like a creamish color. It's not so white after it's fired. I don't like that very stark white look. So it handles very much like it doesn't have a lot of sand or anything. So it's not porcelain, but it is kind of porcelain like because it's not very groggy, but it does have some sand in it, which gives it strength, and it's great for hand building. And since all my work is hand built from slabs, I really like working with it. It's easier for me to handle when I'm doing the clay. So I don't know if you can see the difference in the clay. See, it's like a creamish color compared to like once it's and it's this fired, it's very white, but then it turns into this kind of creamish white, which I really like. Yeah, that's electric firing. Uh, Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly says that she loves this. Thank you, Kimberly. I am going to be glazing some. I need to also glaze some mugs. Not mugs, yeah, mugs, lace mugs. Let me just get the washes ready first. Need, need a little blue wash, a red wash, and an orange wash. Melanie asked whether this is B-Mix. No, it's not B-Mix. Um, this is a clay that is made by Clay Art Center, which is a clay store that's local to me. It's so to compare to B-Mix, it is a little bit more sandier than B-Mix. I have used B-Mix before and I really like working with it, but it is too white. You know how it makes that real white texture at the bottom of the pots when it's fired? I kind of don't like that. Especially because my pots have so much color on it that the white really stands out. So you can check out Clay Art Center in Tacoma, and the name of the clay that I use is called Newcomb 6. It's a cone 6 clay, and or you can just call and ask them or email and ask them which clay I use because they are familiar with my work. So tell them, I was watching Charan's video and I want to use the same clay he's using. So they will hook you up. And it's a very good clay for throwing as well because and for students too. Um, I used to teach a lot earlier too, so it was my favorite clay to use with students. So these are some of the lace mugs, and as you can see, I'm just applying some underglaze, and then I'm going to wash these pieces so it gets like a gradient look to it. And Emily says thank you. Oh, you're welcome. It's there are so many clays out there and everything. I usually suggest people that they buy something locally because it's just shipping clay becomes so expensive. But sometimes you can't get everything everywhere. And BMX is kind of everywhere there. Amper number, so Melanie says she uses Amper number 25 with students mostly. I'm not familiar with that. I used to use a lot of colored clays, but they were all made at the clay store, Clay Art Center. Um, so I used BMX for a while, and it was a good clay, but I had cracking problems with handle. Like if it's not like I couldn't handle it, I have handled with it, and it works good for hand building. Even I've even used porcelain for hand building with it, and it works good. It's just that it to dry very slowly. I can't be that aggressive with it. I can make big pieces with it too. I've not had that much of a problem making them, but I just have to be very careful about how I dry them, and it just increases the amount of time it takes. But if I'm doing an electric fire, the porcelain just turns out so white that I just don't care for it then. So I kind of like the creamish look of my clay. And because the bottoms of my pots are completely bare, I kind of am particular as to what color they look. I don't want them to look, you know, very bright and white. Now, let's do this one needs to be red on the top. So these are custom orders actually, but I do lace mugs. I have some in stock in my shop as well. The beauty of these comes when I wash it on off. I will wash out all that underglaze from the top surface, and that just really makes that texture show. The bottom part of these is going to get a blue color, so they'll have a gradient look of lace. Melanie, I don't know if you are a knitter, but if you have seen some of those knitted shawls with a gradient going from one color to the next, that's the kind of effect I'm trying to reproduce here. So get kind of purplish in the middle. Well, you're welcome, Melanie. Thank you for joining in. We hope you enjoyed watching the live stream. These are some secret new pieces I'm working on. Alright, so I'm just going to wash clean these mugs now, and hopefully that will be it. Just have to wait for everything to dry up. Those beans are done. Best pieces to maintain as well. All right. Thank you everyone for joining in. I'm going to be waiting for a while before I actually glaze these pieces because those under glazes need to dry.